So can you sing that song, a couple of that?
What do you think is India's stand on this US attack on Venezuela?
What are the key components of any culture? How do you define a culture?
Why do you want to make this shift to civil services?
What is the role of AI in the current modern e-commerce scenario?
May I come in?
Come in.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Have your seat, Saurabh.
Thank you so much, sir.
Introduce yourself.
Sure, sir. Sir, my name is Saurabh Kumar, and I come from the district of Patna, Bihar. I'm an engineering and management graduate with 3.5 years of work experience as a management consultant, specifically to the government consulting and social impact division at KPMG India. Sir, regarding my UPSC attempts, last year was my first mains and first interview, and this is my second mains, second interview. As far as my hobbies are concerned, sir, I like to write micro poetries on human emotions, realizing the elderly wisdom, and cherishing the Bhojpuri food and festivals, sir. So this is pretty much all, sir.
How do you define micro poetry?
Sir, it's based on the word limit. It is around 140 to 280 words, which is 4 lines, sir, basically.
Okay. And you try to explore the cultural significance of Bhojpuri food
and festivals, sir.
So, what are your discoveries so far?
Sir, in last 3 years when I started to be at home, I realized that the simplicity which Bhojpuri food carries is very much immense, sir. For example, dal bhat chokha has very much simplicity in it. The nutrition ability as well, sir. For example, litti sattu, which has sattu, a protein. Also the energy in potatoes is starch, sir. So these two things. Also the cultural significance is a lot, sir. So for example, during making litti sattu, my mother sings a song on sattu itself. So I realized that different cultural notations are there.
So can you sing that song, a couple of that?
I can, sir. So it goes in Bhojpuri. So can I go ahead, sir? Okay. So it goes like that. Satua sana tani khailan hamar betwa ho. हमार हस्बैंड हमार मर्दवा हो, हमार परिवारवा हो, ई हमार परिवार के आगे बढ़ाई हो, सतुआ हमार जहान हो, हमार बड़ाई हो.
You have been a marketing person also. So how can we market these food items? Can you strategize it?
Indeed, sir. I believe the first step for marketing is starts with awareness, sir. So litti chokha is already internationalized, but however a lot of foods are not. So with Bhojpuri Mahotsav, which is happening around the world, we can do that, sir. Secondly, sir, Bhojpuri cuisine can be taken into the university education level. For example, Maithili food is there in education, but Bhojpuri food is not. Thirdly, sir, on the government and policy level, it can be included in the midday meals from the ecosystem of the locals, sir. So these three which can be taken.
Can we also use these micro poetry and folk songs?
A lot, sir. Even for example, the midday meal schemes in Bihar are using 4 stanza of local dialects based prachar, sir, the advertisement. So this can be used, sir.
And what are those 4 lines?
For midday meal, sir? Sir, I'm not sure about pure 4 lines, but I can go ahead with that.
Yes, 2 lines.
Okay. बढ़ियन हमार बेटा बढ़ियन हमार संसार पढ़ियन तबे आगे बढ़ियन खइहन तबे बढ़ियन हमार द्वार. So these are 4 lines.
Achha. You have worked in KPMG.
Sir.
Can you expand this short name? What is the full form of KPMG?
Sir, it is based on their founders. So the first is Culinary, second is Pastors, M for the Mackles, and G for the Gilberts. So there are 4 names, sir. The founders.
And when was this company established?
Established here, I'm not sure, sir. I forgot it, sir.
Okay. My last question, Saurabh. Because you have got sociology as an optional, what are the characteristic features of the society of Bihar? Why they are recognized worldwide as a distinct unit of society?
So the first is the cultural migration which happens around the world via Bihar. For instance, the Fiji, Mauritius, everywhere internationalization of the labor forces, sir, which also takes care of the culture. Secondly, sir, the art itself, the Mithila painting, the Madhubani art, sir, the Manjusha painting takes care on the global stage, sir.
No, but that is not the which determines their identity outside Bihar. Which features of the persons from Bihar determines their identity outside Bihar?
All right, sir. For regarding the people of Bihar, sir, I think
Yeah, how the outsiders instantly recognize that this is a Bihari?
I think it's the hard work and diligence, sir,
Okay,
of
that's
the Bihari people. Secondly, sir, their culturally rootedness, sir. I think wherever they go, they speak in Bhojpuri, so they don't forget that. And third, sir, I think the community gathering. So wherever they go, they try to be in the cohesive formation, sir. The Bihari society.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Saurabh,
Sir.
now if we talk about international relations, so we have seen that the rules-based world order has come under a great challenge, right? So what do you think is India's stand on this US attack on Venezuela? And do you agree with this?
Regarding India's stand?
India's stand.
Sir, while USA thinks of it's a global superpower, I don't agree with their stand, what they did in Venezuela. However, India's stand is pretty much clear, sir. The diplomatic way of negotiation, being with the sovereignty rights of the people of Venezuela, has to be there. And India has done what it could, sir. Being the voice of the global south, India has shared its view.
My last question to you. There's a liquor ban in Bihar.
Mm-hmm.
You come from a consultancy background, that is. So if you have to suggest maybe 2-3 reasons to the Bihar Chief Minister that, sir, this liquor ban should be removed. So what would be your 2-3 reasons?
Sir, the first and foremost be the loss of revenue, sir.
Okay.
Bihar losses around 2,000 to 3,000 crore every year. Secondly, sir, despite a ban, Bihar takes around 50,000 cases every year on this illegal liquor, sir. Third, sir, Bihar lost around 640 lives in last year due to illegal booze, sir. So these are the 3 reasons which can be said that a more regulation is required than the rampant restriction on that, sir.
And are you in favor of this ban or in removal of this ban?
Sir,
Personally?
Sir, I want a middle path of it. I don't want a restrict ban, but I want a regulated ban on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Saurabh, you have keen interest in cultural essence of Bhojpuri food and festivals. So a lot of migration is taking place these days because our people are moving out of their cultural roots in search of better livelihood opportunities, education and other activities. What is the impact on their cultural values and system once they dissociate themselves from their cultural roots?
Indeed, sir, that's a very much a concern which is pointed also by the Bihar Bhojpuri Mahotsav itself, sir, which is mentioned that 2 out of 3 Biharis are migrated in every household, sir. So and migration is from the youth of the nation, and youth is going to the different culture and they are getting merged to that culture, sir, leaving behind their own traditional culture. So this is the reason, this is the perfect scenario where a homogenization of culture is happening in Bihar. Bhojpuri is losing its trend, and it has been pointed by International Institute of Bhojpuri, which is based in Mauritius, that by 2050 only elderly are going to speak Bhojpuri, sir.
Okay. What are the key components of any culture? How do you define a culture?
Sir, I believe a culture has different multifaceted dimensions. For example, the attire, the food, the customs, the values inside it, and the all ecosystem of social dwelling depends on culture.
So when we talk about the consequences of migration on the culture and the value system, is everything bad happening or anything good is also happening?
Sir, I believe it has both pros and cons on itself. For example,
we have sufficiently discussed the cons.
Right.
Tell me about the pros.
So the first will be the cultural awareness. India and world is a very diverse surrounding, sir. So we have the awareness of different cultures as well. Secondly, sir, it provides the value-based learning. For example, while Bihar respects the elderly, foreign respects the youth of the arena, sir. So the
cultural exchange is taking place, right?
Definitely.
So if you were to suggest that, in your opinion, which festival of the Bhojpuri region best describes the cultural values and the cultural ethos of the community?
So the first and foremost thing is a festival is a Chhat Puja, sir.
Chhat, right.
And also I want to take a mention here the Jyotiya Parv which Bhojpuri people celebrate, and it should be taken care on the larger stage, sir. For example, the mother and son relationship is nurtured in every society, every religion, every culture. Bhojpuri also has this, so that can be taken care of.
Okay, so in certain sociological thoughts, the gender inclusivity aspect of these festivals is also discussed. Do you think that these festivals are majorly, more or less, gender inclusive?
So this is very much a fortunate cultural priority in Bhojpuri, sir, that even sociologist Bindeswar Pathak mentioned that every Bhojpuri culture or festival is generally inclusive. For example, in Chhat, every kind of gender, male or female, does the same thing of 4 days of fasting, Nahai Khai and Kharna Parv. So I believe gender inclusion is there in Bhojpuri culture, sir.
Okay, fine. Talking about the kind of food and the food habits the culture promotes, it is often argued that the Bhojpuri food items are very simplistic or rustic in nature. Do you think this is a strength or a weakness?
So seeing that India has 100 millions of obesity, it is a strength in itself, sir. People are moving towards the simplicity. While it cannot be blanketly said that it is a purely nutritious or simple, because it has deep fried element also. It has some festive elements also in food, sir. So for example, sweets like khurma, belgarami in Bihar, Bhojpur region. So there is a mixture of it, but definitely its strength lies in this simplicity.
Great. Saurabh, my last question to you. Can you name a few food items which are simple but complex in nature?
From Bhojpur, sir? In general.
In general, or if you are able to point it out from the Bhojpur, then it will be even more better.
So the first is, there is sweet dish called kachwania, which is made during the birth of a child for the mother, which has a lot of dry fruits and sugar.
So you tell me that how this is simple yet complex.
So because it is based only on the dry fruit, but the making process is very much tedious, sir. It takes 2 days, 48 hours of grinding to it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Saurabh, you talked about inclusivity, gender inclusivity, that Bhojpuri culture has a lot of gender inclusivity. But both the songs that you told us, you recited the song as well as the slogan, they had a lot of influence on sons, only on the term beta. Now, as a civil servant, how do you plan on changing this notion or this stereotype without hurting the traditional sentiments?
Ma'am, the gender-based wording, the beta and beti, was historically there. However, in recent times, even the girl child is called beta in the word, sir, ma'am. So I believe things has to be changed in nomenclature itself. So beta should not only be a male child, it should be a girl child also.
So you want to make it gender neutral?
Gender neutral, sir.
All right. You've done BTech and MBA, both which are considered to be a classic educational combination for success in the private sector.
Yes,
and you worked in the private sector also. Then why do you want to make this shift to civil services?
Ma'am, subconsciously civil services was always there in my mind. However, the first thing was financial stability due to uncertain nature of this exam. And I joined the government consulting to realize if this is a true calling or not. Started working with the respective bureaucrats. And I realized that my current role is basically on the advisory front. And I feel an alienation when it comes to implementation on the ground. Secondly, ma'am, my work mostly is monotonous in nature. And civil services will provide the diversity and take me away from the simple social impact roles. And third, ma'am, I will realize that money is no more a differentiator to me. Based on my experience and based on my brother's experience, who is earning way more than me, I have realized that the long-term goal is not in the money, but the people, ma'am.
So, but you don't have a plan B since 2022, I believe. So, do you think it's a practical thing to do?
Ma'am, due to uncertainty of this exam, I always had the plan B, and that is why the corporate experience comes in. So if I want, I can have the job in the corporate, and that too in the public policies, ma'am.
But you'll have to justify your gap.
Yes.
All right. You talked about Bhojpuri food and festivals. So what has Litti Chokha done as a case study if you've studied? What has Litti Chokha done to internationalize itself, but the other foods from the Bhojpur region are not that famous?
Ma'am, the first is the migration, historical migration. So indentured labor from the Bihar went to the different countries, and it was so simple in making that they started making in anywhere on the ground itself. So Litti Chokha has historical connotation to that. Secondly, ma'am, now many Bhojpuri food are getting famous. Even dal bhat chokha counters are there in different countries.
Litti Chokha is not as easy as dal bhat chokha.
Yes. So yes, ma'am, that's true. However, they can make it on very much simplicity way. For example, they use goitha, the gobar, ma'am, and the sattu is always available in terms of the dal also.
All right. Can you tell me what is the influence of Chhat Puja on the Indian society? You've studied sociology.
Ma'am, the first thing is cultural integration. For example, it combines the cultural consciousness of people around the world. Second, ma'am, it worship the nature than the idol worship. Third, ma'am, it is sustainable in its approach. For example, it uses the local customs food, local
Just on the
wood-based material.
society, on the relations, if you have to say, social relations, how does it influence the social relations?
Then ma'am, first is the cultural binding. Second is the rituals and customs itself. It proliferates this. And third, ma'am, it provides the different religions to come together, because not only Hindu, Muslims also celebrate Chhath.
Right. Now, can you tell me the difference between the society of Patna and Mumbai, since you have lived in both the places?
Ma'am, the first point is Mumbai is very fast in its appearance, ma'am. People are very busy there. Second is, ma'am, the industrial outlook of Mumbai. Bihar still has 80% agriculture background. And third, ma'am, the politics itself. Bihar has a non-stable politics, while Maharashtra in Mumbai itself has a stable politics and the local BMC, Bombay Municipal Council.
All right. My last question to you is, you've done a case study on e-commerce growth. So what are the reasons for this rapid growth of e-commerce platforms in India?
Ma'am, the first is the digital penetration. The internet, India, 917 million people are using it. So this is first. Second, ma'am, the fast-paced, the retail shops. For example, people want immediate satisfaction of their needs. So e-commerce provide that. And third, ma'am, the startup culture which has been in India.
But how do you plan on balancing the damage it is doing to the domestic manufacturers or small manufacturers?
Ma'am, Competition Commission of India has just flagged this issue that domestic manufacturers and retail shops has lost 28,000 crore rupees on that per year. So government has initiated the first ONDC, the Online National Digital Commerce background, that can be taken care of. Secondly, ma'am, the mom and pop stores, the local kirana stores are beyond the commerce, ma'am. They also talk about the social impact, communication, negotiation. People not go there only for the buying and stuff, but the culture integration also.
All right. Thank you, Saurabh.
Saurabh,
Ma'am.
taking over from where ma'am left.
Okay.
What is the role of AI in the current modern e-commerce scenario?
Ma'am, AI can have a multifaceted role. The first is it can check on the fraud detection. Secondly, ma'am, it can provide you the data-driven analysis and what is the performance of the e-commerce. Third, ma'am, it can also provide the decision for the data-driven decision making as to which part of nation, which part of region to go. So these three things can be taken care of.
Do you think it conflicts with data privacy?
To an extent, definitely, since AI runs on the data, public data, private data. However, I believe IT rule of 2021 has restricted the use of public data without approval of the principal and the government.
Okay. So since you've talked about principles, what are data principles and data fiduciary according to our DPDP Act?
Ma'am, data principles are the people like us, our data. Data fiduciary are the organization who are going to use it.
All right. And which committee's recommendations did this act work on?
I'm not able to recall, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. You have, depicted enough that you're very close to, sentimentally attached to your family and your roots. Is that the reason you've given like fifth preference to IFS?
That can be one reason, ma'am. Since I came to the civil services preparation after the evidence-based making that I worked for the IAS officers and UPSC IAS officers. So this is the first reason, definitely. Secondly, also, ma'am, that I have been to the foreign countries with my work, and I realized that I always come back to the nation. So I want a long-term perspective to be in India itself. Yes.
All right. But what if you do in fact get selected into the foreign services?
That's a very much a proud moment, ma'am. Any civil service, since I have opted all the options given, so I don't think so any issue. I will be proud in myself.
Okay. You also received the Best Employee Award for the Rural Development Project. Can you say that rural India is now becoming the engine for India's economic growth?
With full confidence, ma'am. Yes, 72% of population is in rural India, and I believe they are driving the growth. For example, the recent household survey came out and says that the rural India is growing with more than the urban perspective, around 28%. So definitely it's a key, ma'am.
All right. And what reasons can you give for this rise of consumer market in rural India?
The first being the market base itself.
Yes, that is one.
Yes,
but why is the market base expanding?
Ma'am, I believe the demand is growing from the rural area, People are not concentrated only in rural area in appearances, but they are aware about what is happening around the world, and internet-based communication is there. So people are expecting a better services, better last mile delivery of the products on the ground. So this is the reason.
All right. What do you understand by core and headline inflation difference?
Ma'am, core inflation does not include the food and fuels, while headline inflation is the inflation which we see in the real sector. It includes everything.
All right. Since you've also studied marketing, tell me which of the two, word of mouth or paid advertising, which of the two is beneficial in general?
Ma'am, both are beneficial, but word of mouth is more sustainable in its identity, ma'am.
All right. Since you've studied sociology, my final question to you is, there's a term which is very much making the rounds, DINK. Are you aware? DINK? What is it?
It is, ma'am, double income no kid.
Yes. And
Yes.
are you in favor of this phenomenon or this project of DINK?
Ma'am, personally I'm not. However, this is the situation which is happening around the world due to nuclearization of family and the fast-paced life which is going around. So they are accepting. I personally am not.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Saurabh, who was the first woman Chief Minister of Bihar?
Sir, it is Srimati Rabdi Devi.
And how many women have been Chief Ministers in Bihar?
I believe she is the only one, sir.
Okay. And who was the first woman governor in Bihar?
I'm not aware, sir.
Okay. How many women are ministers today in the Council of Ministers of Bihar?
Sir, I'm not sure the exact number, sir.
How many women are MLAs or MLCs?
Not aware about the number, sir.
Okay. How many women are in the local bodies?
In the local bodies, sir, I believe there is, so 50% is reservation is there, and the strength is around 51%. So this is the strength which is given by the local community, local bodies.
Okay. Fine. How many divisions are there in Bihar?
In Bihar,
Administrative divisions, yes. Which is also called commissionary in Bihar.
sir, I'll have to check on that, sir.
Okay. Recently, government of Bihar announced to revive urbanization process, beautification and expansion of cities. How many cities are covered under that declaration?
I have not read, sir. I'll have
Okay,
to check.
never mind. Fine, Saurabh, your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Come in, Saurabh.
Thank you, sir.
Have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
You have performed well. What was your score last year?
180, sir.
180. That's good. Good. You can score even 15-20 marks better than last year. Your performance here was satisfactory from every perspective. You handled all the questions well. Your factual answers were correct. The different kinds of hobbies and engagements you have, you justified it truly. Only in the last leg of thing, awareness about the local conditions in Bihar. So you've got some time. 22nd is
Yes.
far ahead. I mean, 15 days time is there. So pick up some facts about Bihar. Okay, all different kinds of facts.
Yes.
After the government has taken oath, the new government, they have made many policy announcements. So that should be particularly covered. So I personally feel that you should think about changing the color of tie.
Okay, sir, I have a sky blue tie. Can I use it? Because last time I used maroon and everyone were wearing maroon. And they said that to me, that is this a school dress? That everyone is wearing a maroon tie with navy blue suit.
Do you have another shirt? That means just to create that contrast.
I have, sir, I can have.
A sky blue kind of shirt. Maybe try this combination.
Okay.
Okay, dress otherwise is very good. Sitting posture is fine. Facial expressions are positive. So there is nothing specific to suggest you for improvement. That means everything is right in place. The communication skill is good. Almost everything. So communication flow is there. You've got work experience and you are able to justify your knowledge as well as experience together. So from our side, you are already prepared. There is nothing to change. Just keep it up. Just pick up the facts about Bihar. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, thanks.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.